Welcome back. All right, so there's been a few minor additions to Washington, but I want to talk about the bigger signings. And then after I've done all four divisions, then I'll be putting normal boards together where I talk about other free agent signings that have occurred since I put the boards together. And then tomorrow, there'll be more of that. This is why when people say, so after the hockey season's over, do you have a nice break, or you must have a nice break? The difference is I don't watch hockey in the evenings. There aren't hockey games on in the evenings. Outside of that, it's still the same. It's still the same. So Carolina's been busy. Now, their PR machine has been working overdrive to the point where if you're calling to cancel season tickets, you get a voice message asking you not to, and you might get somebody calling you back that just keeps saying, trust Rod Brindamore. So, okay. D'Angelo, 1 year, $1 million. We'll see where this goes. Again, PR-wise, should be interesting to see. And I know there's a lot of defenders out there too, and people that absolutely love everything D'Angelo stands for. But again, for others, not as much. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Carolina. It is a bold stance. We haven't seen Virtanen signed yet either, although there's been rumors and rumblings of Carolina as well as Boston when it comes to Virtanen. Josh Levo signs a 1 year deal with Carolina for $750,000. I'm a Josh Levo fan, and so we'll see how things go for him in Carolina, a team that does have a pretty solid bottom six most seasons. Ian Cole signs a 1 year deal on the blue line worth $2.9 million. I like Ian Cole, underrated blue liner. The $2.9 million tells you Don Waddell does not underrate him. Freddie Anderson will be the starting goaltender for Carolina this year, 2 years, $4.5 million. Now, they've worked their magic with Reimer. They worked their magic with Mrazek. And you could argue they worked their magic with Nedeljkovic as well, who going into last season, nobody thought he was going to be the starter for Carolina. In fact, he cleared waivers, and then he ends up being their starter, right? So, yeah, we'll see if they can work their magic again with Anderson, as well as Antti Raanta. Yes, moving on from Arizona. 2 years, $2 million. There were rumors that Vancouver was interested in Raanta, but as I said in the Pacific Division wrap-up, it looks like Ian Clark stepped in and said, no, I'll take a Halak, please. So Raanta goes to Carolina, and we'll see how things go. I just keep my fingers crossed that Raanta can stay healthy. That's the key thing with both goalies, really, is Anderson and Raanta being healthy and being rested and being fresh. So if they can work that tandem really well, Carolina should be all right. But they do take a hit. In losing Dougie Hamilton, in my eyes, they do take a hit when it comes to conversations about being in contention for a Stanley Cup. Columbus, they re-signed a lot of the restricted free agents they needed to. So they took care of a lot of in-house business, as well as adding Sean Kuraly for 4 years at $2.5 million per season. That's a contract that feels a little bit high as well, but Kuraly, very good forward. As I said during the live stream, the one thing I've noticed with the third and fourth lines for Boston, these players play well in Boston. They usually end up getting contracts elsewhere, and they sometimes struggle to live up to those contracts or their play falls off. And so we'll see with Kuraly. I love Kuraly's compete level, and it is too bad that he's not going to be in the bottom six for Boston anymore. But at $2.5 million, it makes sense that Boston wasn't able to come to contract have those discussions get more meaningful with Kuraly than what they were. Now, New Jersey, the reason I'm wearing a Devils jersey for this is because they made two big splashes today, and I like both. Now, Dougie Hamilton for 7 years, and it's a total of $63 million. So everything else is cap hit. In fact, I should change that to cap hit, because otherwise people will be like, "Wow, $63 million cap. It's hard to get a team on the ice if a guy's taking up $63 million in cap space," and hardy har har. But yeah, $9 million per season for Dougie Hamilton. It's a lot of money. Is Dougie Hamilton worth it? I'm on the fence on this, to be honest. Again, we'll come back to the Carolina thing. I think Carolina in their system, I think they reclaim guys. When Dougie Hamilton got to Carolina, he was a good defenseman, became a great defenseman in Carolina. Can he continue that in New Jersey? New Jersey also had to make a trade shortly before this video was starting to be recorded, that Will Butcher has now been traded off to the Buffalo Sabres. Decent pickup for the Sabres, and for New Jersey they had to dump off some money. Jonathan Bernier gets some of said money. He gets a 2-year deal at $4.125 million per season. If you watched Detroit at all last year, you know how good Bernier can be, and how little Detroit seemed to be able to give their two starting goaltenders goal support. Bernier's numbers were excellent. Him and Blackwood make a pretty formidable duo. Now, again, at the time I'm recording this, the Islanders have not had anything that I've seen yet that's proven that they've got Palmieri. Although there's a lot of talk about Palmieri, there's also talk about Parise. So if your last name starts with P and you're 30 years of age or older, you might be going to the New York Islanders. So, yeah, they will be busy, odds are, in upcoming days. The New York Rangers, they re-add Greg McKegg, 1 year, $750,000, league minimum. Jared Tenorti, 2 years at $900,000 each. I like Jared Tenorti as a depth defenseman. I was kind of actually hoping that Boston might hold on to him, but he moves on to the New York Rangers. Patrick Nemeth signs a contract for 3 years at $2.5 million. And his playoffs were kind of a misadventure for Colorado. I think the cap hit on that one is interesting. We'll see how it works out, right, for the New York Rangers, who have added a couple of blue liners, and overall their team looks pretty darn strong. Philadelphia, Martin Jones, 1 year at $2 million for Martin Jones. Is there risk here? Absolutely. Carter Hart and Martin Jones both coming off of what were statistically poor seasons. Jones needed a change of scenery. Absolutely desperately needed it. I think he's a better goaltender than the numbers have shown over the last couple of years. But now is his chance to prove that that's the case. Philadelphia's got a revamped blue line. It should help the goaltending numbers. And overall, Philadelphia seems to have some idea of where they're going with this. Nate Thompson, speaking of bottom six forwards, 1 year, $800,000, risk-free. Keith Yandle, officially today signing the 1 year extension I talked about in the video yesterday at $900,000 per season, being the 1 year. I like Yandle. I like that addition on the blue line. Again, as a third pairing forward and as a power play guy, absolutely fine. And of course, he is in the hunt for the Ironman streak. He wants to keep that Ironman streak going. We'll see how that goes for him. Pittsburgh, Dominic Simone, 1 year, $750,000. I saw Pittsburgh fans universally just being over the moon about getting Simone back into the lineup. I'm kidding, but you know, Simone, it's a depth move, and again, any contract below $1.25 million, if the guy doesn't make your team, you can send him to the American Hockey League, and you have no cap penalty at all. You can bury up to $1.25 million in the AHL, so there's not really any concern there if you're Pittsburgh. And Brock McGinn, good pickup, and I do agree with people who were asking me today, so is this a pickup to make up for losing Brandon Tanev? Absolutely. Gets a 4-year contract, cap hit of $2.75 million. And it is that kind of thing, too, that has me wondering with Carolina. How are they going to make up for the loss of some of these character guys that have gone elsewhere? It does make me wonder how good Carolina is going to be this year and what else they might have up their sleeve. And the Capitals, of course, they re-sign a couple of guys, signed Mike Irwin. Nothing major yet, but the Capitals, of course, got their major signing done when they re-signed, extended Alex Ovechkin. So things look good for Washington. They look good for the Islanders. The fact that I don't have names next to them does not mean that they've had a bad offseason at all. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. And yeah, I'm wearing the jersey of the team that's really kind of impressed me out of each division when I do these reviews thus far. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.